April. Last week we met Darren and Sharon Hunter, who are setting out to build an eco-house for a Wellington couple wanting to escape the hurly-burly of the city life. The house will be built in the quiet landscape of the Wairarapa, where it will be designed to work in harmony with its environment. This week we're going to catch up with the guys to find out what it takes to get a project like this off the ground. First off, the brief with the clients. Who are the clients? Where do they come from?
Clients are Sue and Martius,
yep.
And they've been living in Wellington for about 2.5 years, and prior to that in Switzerland. Martius, of course, is Swiss.
Yes.
And they want to move to somewhere quiet, somewhere that will provide them with a nice village kind of atmosphere and lifestyle. They've been looking at set design plans as far as building their eco house, but they couldn't find anything that was really a good fit for them.
Yep.
And then just a kind of chance meeting with a friend actually created the introduction to Dave Kennedy from KBL Builders, who'd worked with Darren and Hunter Architecture on a number of projects, including his own holiday home. And that's how Sue and Martius became our clients, basically.
Perfect. But how do you get, you take that brief and then try and put ideas on the paper? How do you come up with the idea?
They had been thinking about an eco house for quite some time, so they had some preconceived ideas what they wanted. So they actually wrote down a list of things they wanted.
Yep.
Something as simple as 2 bedrooms, separate pantry. So all those little pinpoints help to resolve the design. And
you go from there and you plonk it on the ground, or do you use other houses as a way of building up your momentum with the brief?
Yeah, the eco part of it definitely drives the house. So we've used previous designs and previous technologies and previous ideas to amalgamate into our design. So you're not reinventing the wheel, you're just using snippets from...
And we've got a picture here. What are we looking at here?
Well, this is what would be called a more traditional eco house. It's got earth on the roof, and it's using the thermal mass of the earth to create the heat or retain the heat inside the house. So in our house, we're using a more modern material, a concrete product, whereas in a traditional eco house such as that, they've used earth.
And here's another one.
This one is what you'd maybe call a more traditional alternative lifestyle house.
Great.
I particularly wouldn't want to live in a little gem like that, Josh, but we're trying to move away from that type of architecture.
What about this one?
Well, this is something out of perhaps Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. I think it's a connotation of perhaps what a traditional eco house may be pictured in people's minds.
Yeah, and the last one?
This is probably more traditional looking, but it's got the elements of eco house in there with a large amount of glazing, the steep roofs, the verandas. So
you've researched, and then you take this picture back to the people. You're discussing it again. How do you decide which things to include for the clients and which things are realistic and which aren't? Because obviously money comes into it as well.
It does. The budget has to be set higher than a normal house.
Yep.
They've given us indications. They wanted to have a roof that was probably a gull wing roof, which is a V-shaped roof. So straight away that leads us to the sort of architecture that perhaps we could work with.
And why would they go for a gull wing?
To open the roof up and open the rooms up to the sun, to capture as much light as possible.
Are there any other things that they brought into the picture which you've actually had to say, no, we can't do that in New Zealand, or yes, we can, and we're going to explore that?
Unfortunately, the budget does drive certain ideas. There's so many different ways to build an eco house, and we were working on their budget. Their budget was set at $500,000. That's something that we had to work within. So some ideas were automatically discarded just because of the cost.
Okay, so then you've got this beautiful house, you've got the designs, you've got your brief, you've got to go to a builder. Now, is that a process in itself?
Well, normally you would, if you were actually having your normal, a traditional home designed, once you've got your sketch design, you can go out to a builder and ask them to price it, the windows, the doors, the plumbing, the electrical, things like that. What the clients are doing in this particular case is that we're providing them with a total package. So Darren's designing it, KBL Builders are actually going to be building it, and we are assisting the clients to make those decisions that will keep them within their budget, but will give them a really nice end product. So we do the whole thing. So we'll be talking to the suppliers, making sure that they fit within the budget, talking to the clients so they know they get a right match for what they need. rather than in the traditional way that you would go and speak to all those tradespeople yourself. We organise that.
So you're the chopping block?
Pretty much.
You have to make things work. Is that a bit of a scary thought?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many materials on the market, so if you like, from an architectural perspective, we are impartial. We're looking at all the products in the market. What's the correct price? What's the correct fit for the client? And then we take maybe our short list of 3 or 4 things and suggest it to the client and say, these are the good and bad points about a certain product.
So it's all coming together. Where do you go to from now?
Well, we've got something really exciting working on at the moment. We're working with a guy called Reece Warnock. He's a bit of a graphics guru. He's doing a fly-through for us. So he's going to use a modern technology, computers to fly through the house, show us what the house looks like, and that'll be all ready for next week.
Bit like that Sims game.
You bet.
Well, I can't wait to check it out.